Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Michigan here with another video for you. And this time we have Helmet Head from class playing in his EBR here on Malinovka. Now I apologize in advance if I sound a little off, just getting over getting sick, as well as this is the third consecutive video I'm recording for subscriber replays, as Wargaming doesn't like it when there are updates and then you try and watch a replay, so it's always a crapshoot whether the video will actually record or not. So I'm trying to get them all done before I have to go back to Maine to work for another week. So Helmet has decided to run across the field there. Initially he's going to take an unlucky hit from that Skoda T50, but undeterred he's going to go right back out there. Now Helmet is going to show a lot of great EBR play that can be applied both to random battles and advances, mainly in the way that he spots vehicles. Note when he just did there, for example. He went forward, he spotted the Foch, and then immediately turned around. And what that allowed his team to do, and what it allowed him to do, was one, he spotted a vehicle and he was able to get out. You can ignore that play. I guarantee you that's the last time he'll crash into a building this video. But his team spotted the Foch, and that being the only vehicle that they could shoot, it helps the team also focus fire vehicles out. Now, if he had gone forward, yes, he may have spotted more vehicles, but what he did do, or what he would have done, would be increase his chances of getting spotted, and therefore getting shot by an additional amount of vehicles, more than his team could probably handle. So you can see there he got spotting, 1,000 spotting there on that patent tank. He got back, he got unlit, and now he's going to go back in again. Now he's also going to swap between the field and the low ground, and that's important because you don't want enemy tanks pre-aimed on where they think you're going to be next. If you're always running this bush line, for example, they're going to get their guns pre-aimed on that bush line, which is going to give them better reaction speed. Quarter of a second, half second, 1 second, doesn't matter. Any advantage that you give the enemies is another chance for you to get killed. And he's also going to showcase why it is so vitally important, regardless of the game you're playing, for the light tank, whether it's an EBR or anything else, to stay alive. Now, Helmet is going to run this bush a second time. It worked very well the first time. The enemies are a little wiser, and this time he only gets a JPE 100. Without light tanks, like the enemy, who don't have an EBR, you can't support your team at all. So Helmet here is able to spot for his team, but unfortunately the only thing the enemy team is able to shoot at is him. And you can see that as a T95 bounces off of Helmet, and that is not going to be the only time in this battle where Helmet is going to get a ricochet from a high caliber gun. Now Helmet runs to the low side, comes again, remember, he's just doing little runs, pushing a little further each time, spots a patent tank, immediately starts to turn around as he knows his team will focus the patent tank out first. Nice hit there from the Waffenträger Aufpanzer IV, and the 4005 finishes off the Skoda, so he pretty much cripples two vehicles in that one little run. Again, he could have run and tried to spot the Jagdpanzer 100 and the grill, but there's plenty of time in this game, no need to push it. So back to the high side, he just ran low side, so we go on high side this time. Spotted a Char and a Jagdpanzer 100. Doesn't need to go any further. Gonna get a couple of hits off on the JP. It looks like somebody over here is frustrated. I must have been the Cobra, maybe, who fired 2 HE rounds at the JP 100 and only going to get 100 on that end. But some damage is better than no damage. Back to the low side. I'm sure you're beginning to see the pattern that I'm talking about. And now he's going to get a little more aggressive here. Going for that grill. Auto-aiming on the grill. Going to bounce the grill too, as the titanium wheels on the EBR 105 take that shot as well. If you can block a T95, you can block a grill. You never know. Foch back up as well. Not much there from his team, as the enemy tanks are starting to hide behind all of the rocks there by their cap on the 1, 2, 3 lines. So his team is up 1,400. They have lost the hill. It actually looks like the enemy team, Helmet's team didn't even get past the hill. But they are holding him off, and the enemy team haven't actually made any progress over there. Now, despite Helmet's now 5,800 spotting, they actually are only up 1,400 hit points. Going to run that bush line again, getting lit, and now Helmet is making lots of jerky motions there, trying to make it as difficult as possible for the enemy team to predict his movements. Now Helmet may have a spot that he's looking to get to. However, he's going to be exceptionally creative in how he gets there. And that's what you need to do in an EBR when you have no armor and 1,300 hit points. You can't be predictable. So if you don't even know exactly how you're going to get there, how can the enemy team know? And that gives you your best chance for survival. You see he's wiggling back and forth even when he thinks he isn't. And remember that there's a 3-second spotting delay. So you could be spotted and you would have no idea. So Helmet's pretty much playing like he's always spotted. And this is why Helmet is such a great EBR player. Is that he's able to survive for long portions of the battle, to be able to contribute as much as he possibly can for the rest of his team. EBR players who die early are not able to contribute to their team's win, especially since there's not very many light tanks in the game. Now, here comes Helmet's first very aggressive play of the game, whacking the grill for 600 and actually bouncing a shell from a Foch as well before the object 430 finishes him off. Now, the Cobra has helped out Helmet to kill the grill, and Helmet takes his first big hit of the game from the 704, who's sitting in the bush waiting, and he takes 774. Luckily, the game is it's in its closing stages. Helmet attempts to take one off the 704. 704 fires, I think, at him, but Helmet decides he's not going to mess around with that, as an EBR trying to duel on the red line can be exceptionally dicey, because what the EBR relies on is being able to juke out the opponents. But if you have a big invisible wall on the left, that's really going to limit your options, especially if the enemy tanks decide to back up to the red line, and then you're not able to get around it. So Helmet's now here trying to engage this Char Future 4. Lots of wild movements. If you're getting car sick right now, you wouldn't be the only one. Char misses one on him. Helmet's nicely using the auto-aim here. And there's a lot of stereotypes about auto-aiming, one of which you shouldn't do it. However, an EBR is all about spotting and driving. Those are the first two focuses. You should be looking at what you're trying to spot, as well as where you're trying to drive. The gun is second, and you'll know that because Helmet here has 8,782 spotting. He doesn't have any kills, and he has 1,300 damage. Now, if he was in most other Tier 10 vehicles, that wouldn't be a great result there. Also, he dodges the M53 there, so very lucky to bring him down to 93 health. But Helmet, for the most part, has been focusing spotting. Now, once the game starts to come towards its end, that's where the EBR's gun and speed work very nicely together, as you can negate the poor penetration on this gun by getting around vehicles as well as sneaking up on them. Good HE round there for 457 into the T92. This tank rolls for 500, I believe, on his HE, so a bit of a low roll there. Yep, 500, so he actually rolled. He should have killed the T92. Fortunately, I'm not sure where that shell went on the T92. And instead of finishing him off, he's going to go and try and spot this JP100. Now, he has spotted him, but instead he decides to go for the JP. I would have personally gone for the artillery, but, you know, the game's almost over. Helmet may be just trying to get more damage off of him. Fortunately, the terrain didn't do him any favors there. Ramps up a little bit, and that shell is going to go higher with the JP. However, the T92 is still up, and the 430 doesn't seem to be in a huge rush to kill that T92. So let's see if Helmet can get him. And right there off the side, as he's reloading, going to finish off the T92 for his first kill of the game. The team's final kill, finishing with 1,887 damage, 400 blocked, though in reality it's much more than that, and 9,789 spotting on a map that isn't Prokhorovka, which is where these games normally occur. And it was all active spotting, something that's much more difficult to do than in a vehicle like a Malinokva or an ELC even 90. Alright, let's take a look at the postgame. Alright, so Helmet finishes with a Mastery Badge, Ace Tanker, a Spotter for his at least 1,000, which he did pretty much tenfold, Fire for Effect, Scout, as well as Patrol Duty there. Finishing top on his team with of XP, 1,382, 1 kill, and the 1,887 damage, which actually finished in the top half of his team, in the top 7 here. So actually, yeah, in the top 50%, despite really not using his gun all that much. He fired 14 shells, 5-7, again, not a huge deal. He took 6 hits. He took 1 penetrating hit from the Object 704 and 1 from the TVP at the beginning of that game, bouncing the Foch the grill, the T95, and one other vehicle that I can't remember in the process. He took a hit from the artillery as well. 9,860 spotting. I believe in the postgame it said 9,857. So not sure where the 3 came from, but maybe it was a vehicle that disappeared. 5,000 or 53,000 credits earned. After battle payments and personal missions, he ended up with 11,493, not spending a whole lot in consumables or ammunition. His 1,382 was multiplied to 11,402 after all of his bonuses and whatnot, and he received a total of 364 free XP. So I hope you enjoyed this replay. Helmet, thank you so much for sending this in. I look forward to seeing more replays from you, and I hope you all enjoyed it as well, and I will catch everyone in the next video. See ya.